Dear devotees, you must listen to this story before going to Mahakumbhmela. This story will teach you what mistakes you should not make in Mahakumbhmela, otherwise these mistakes will ruin your life. How a father lost everything. How a man loses everything due to his one mistake. Then what is the use of repenting when the bird has missed the field? Dear devotees, before starting the story, please like this video and write Har Har Gange in the comment. Dear devotees, Mahakumbhmela. It is a great religious and cultural festival of India which is held every 12 years at 4 places: Haridwar, Prayagraj, Ujjain and Nashik. It is considered to be the biggest confluence of the world where millions of devotees gather to take bath at the Ganga Ghat. This Mahakumbh is the biggest festival of the Indian. The culture is a symbol of spirituality and faith, where sages, saints, Aghori, Naga Baba and lakhs of devotees realize their religious beliefs. Dear devotees, it was winter season and amidst the mild coolness of the morning, the sounds of bells and conches were resonating from the ghats of river Ganga all around. And there was a fair of enthusiasm and devotion of the devotees. In this holy atmosphere, an ordinary couple reached the Mahakumbh fair at Sangam Ghat in Prayagraj with their little daughter Radika. Radika was only 5 years old. Her big eyes and innocent smile were captivating everyone. It was touching everyone's heart. This was the first time they had brought their daughter to the huge fair of Mahakumbh. Radika's father Vikram and mother Sunita were very happy. Sunita gave Radika a light pink colored frock and a small Rudraksh rosary around her neck. The girl was holding her mother's hand and was happily looking here and there. Vikram and Sunita thought that by taking a bath in the Ganga at the Mahakumbh, all the sins of their family would be washed away and there would be happiness and peace in life. There was devotion and enthusiasm everywhere at the fair. The atmosphere was of a huge crowd. Groups of saints and sages dressed in saffron clothes, Aghori Babas, Naga sadhus with chillams on their heads and devotees chanting mantras were visible everywhere. Radika was seeing such a huge crowd for the first time. Her eyes were shining, but her tiny fingers were. Your father Vikram was holding Radika's hand tightly. Vikram said to his wife Sunita, "Take care of Radika. There is a lot of crowd here, don't leave her hand." Sunita nodded her head and said yes. Radika asked her father smilingly, "Papa, who is this Sadhu Baba? He is so strange. Why do they wear clothes?" Vikram smiled and touching her nose lovingly said, "Son, he is a devotee of God. He spends his entire life serving God." Radika nodded, but there were still many questions in her mind. The sun god sent his first rays during the Mahakumbh fair. Crowds had gathered at Sangam Ghat. People were excited to take a dip in the Ganga. Chants of Har Har Gange were echoing all around. Devotees, saints, sages, Aghori Babas and Naga sadhus, all were engrossed in worshipping in their own style. Vikram said to Radika. Sunita was walking with them. Radika had seen such a huge crowd for the first time. Her eyes were moving around with joy. She saw many Aghori Babas who were chanting mantras with the ashes of Shani's body. He asked his father, "Papa, this Baba is so dirty, why do they stay here?" Vikram smiled and said, "Son, this Baba is a devotee of Lord Shiva. He sacrifices everything and does sadhana and attains the path of peace in his life." Radhika did not understand this, but she nodded her head. She was getting happy over small things. Suddenly her eyes fell on the balloon seller. She said to her father, "Papa, I want that balloon." Vikram explained to her, "Son, first take a bath in the Ganga. Then we will buy the balloon also." There was a long queue for bathing at Sangam Ghat. Vikram and Sunita held Radhika between them and cautiously started moving towards the Ganga. Radhika was asked to hold her mother's hand firmly. As soon as Sunita entered the holy water of the Ganga, she remembered God. Vikram took Radhika in his lap. I picked her up and washed her little palms with Ganga water. Radhika asked innocently, "Papa, why is this water so cold?" Vikram said with a smile, "This is holy water, son. It destroys all the sins of a man. That is why it is called Ganga water." To Radhika. Then I could not understand anything and he shook his head. After bathing, the family started returning to the ghat, but the crowd was increasing. There was a flood of people all around. Vikram held Radhika's hand tightly again. Some mischievous boys nearby started making noise, which created a commotion in the crowd, and then suddenly there was pushing and shoving in the crowd. As soon as Vikram and Sunita were trying to get out of the crowd, suddenly there was a jerk and Radhika's hand slipped from Vikram's hand. She got frightened and started looking around. She could not see her mother and father anywhere. The crowd was so huge that Vikram and Sunita could not see each other. Sunita immediately started looking for Radhika. Vikram shouted, "Radhika, where are you, Radhika, daughter?" Sunita's eyes began to tear up. She became distressed and started looking here and there in the crowd. Radhika started crying loudly. She kept crying in the crowd. She started walking crying. She started crying out of fear, but her voice got drowned in the noise of the crowd. In a few moments, their world was shattered. The crowd was increasing rapidly. Everyone was trying to get out of the ghat. Vikram held Radhika's hand tightly. It happened, but suddenly there was a strong push in the crowd and Vikram lost his balance, and at that very moment Radhika's little hand slipped from his hand. Radhika started crying loudly and looked around, but she could not see her parents anywhere. There were unknown faces all around, noise and jostling. Tears came to her eyes. That innocence, she started crying and shouting, "Where are you, mom and dad?" This condition was most painful for a parent. Tears started flowing from her eyes. She looked all around in the crowd, but Radhika was nowhere to be seen. Sunita said while crying, "Vikram, where is my daughter, my Radhika?" She left. Vikram tried to handle Sunita, but Vikram himself was broken from inside. On hearing the voices of Vikram and Sunita, the people nearby stopped. Gradually there was a commotion in the crowd. Many people came forward to help them. Someone asked, "Your daughter, how does she look? What is she wearing?" Vikram said in a trembling voice, "She is 5 years old. She is wearing a pink frock and has a Rudraksh necklace around her neck. Her name is Radhika." Some people tried to find Radhika and looked here and there in the crowd. They began to leave, but the crowd was so huge that Radhika could not be traced. It was becoming difficult to get out of the crowd. Radhika was now trying to get out of the crowd. She was crying and calling her mother and father again and again. She was unable to understand where to go. Suddenly a Sadhu Baba saw her. His face was shining a lot and there was a slight smile on his face. The Baba went to Radhika and said lovingly, "Daughter, why are you crying? Where are your parents?" Radhika said while crying, "I want a father. I want a mother." The Sadhu Baba said, "I want a father, I want a mother." He made her sit near him and calmed her down. Baba also gave the girl a balloon for which the girl had asked him earlier. On seeing the balloon, the girl calmed down for some time. The news of Radhika's disappearance at Sangam Ghat spread rapidly. Vikram and Sunita were looking for her everywhere. Tears were flowing from Sunita's eyes and she was crying and screaming, "Radhika, where are you, my child?" Vikram's condition was also bad. He was scared and anxious. Someone in the crowd said, "Bhai Sahab, you go to the fair's announcement office and inform about the missing girl. Get the announcement made from there." Vikram and Sunita rushed towards the announcement office. Many people were already complaining about missing their loved ones. Vikram reached there and said tremblingly, "My 5-year-old daughter Radhika is missing. She is wearing a pink frock and a knot around her neck. There is a Rudraksh rosary, please have it announced." The office employee listened to Vikram carefully and announced on the mic, "Caution, caution. A 5-year-old girl named Radhika is wearing a pink frock and has a Rudraksh rosary around her neck, who has lost it. If you have seen this girl, please bring her to the announcement office." On hearing the announcement, Sunita's hopes were raised, but the very next moment when no one gave the news of bringing Radhika, she started crying even louder. Sunita looked towards the idol of the god and she said while crying, "O Mother Ganga, O Lord, please save my child. If something happens to my Radhika, I will never ask you, I will never remember you." Vikram tried to console Sunita, but his own voice was breaking. On the other hand, Radhika the Sadhu was sitting near the Baba and gave her prasad and satisfied her hunger. Mithai calmed her down and said, "Don't be afraid, daughter, I will take you to your parents." At that very moment Baba heard a voice from the announcement office and Baba asked a traveller about the address of the announcement office and took Radhika with him to go there. Vikram and Sunita's hearts were beating faster in the announcement office. Every time Radhika's name was called from the mic, their hopes were raised a little, but as soon as no news came, they were shattered again. Sunita's eyes had become swollen from crying. She was repeatedly calling God, "O Mother Ganga, please get my daughter back to me." Vikram tried to console Sunita, but his own tears were not stopping. The noise of the crowd from all around, the panic of the people and the sounds of continuous announcements were increasing the anxiety and restlessness in their hearts. Radhika, who was still nervous, was walking with the Sadhu Baba. Baba said to her lovingly, "Don't be afraid, daughter, God has sent me, I will take you to your parents." Radhika held Baba's hand tightly with her small hands. In the office Vikram said to the employees, "Please make an announcement about my daughter once again, maybe someone is bringing her." The voice echoed again from the mic, "A 5-year-old girl wearing a pink frock with a Rudraksh rosary around her neck whose name is Radhika. Who have you seen him too? Please bring him to the announcement office. His parents are very worried." This time on hearing the announcement, Sadhu Baba said to Radhika, "Daughter, your parents are waiting for you here. come let me introduce you to them. Vikram and Sunita. Near the announcement office they were standing with hope and fear when they saw a sadhu. Baba with long beard and saffron clothes coming with Radika in his lap. Sunita looked at her for a moment and screamed, "Radika, my child!" Radika called her parents as soon as she saw her. When she saw her, she ran to her parents. Vikram also ran and took Radika in his arms. Sunita hugged Radika and started crying profusely. Radika said to her mother, "Mother, I was feeling very scared at that time. A Baba brought me here." Then Sunita and Vikram, when they looked around, they could not see that Baba anywhere. Sunita and Vikram realized for once that the saint was none other than Lord Shiva who had saved their daughter. Sunita and Vikram took a sigh of relief after taking Radika in their lap. Sunita hugged her daughter tightly as if she never wanted to let her go away from her. The heavy burden on her heart had now been lifted, but tears were not stopping from Sunita's eyes. Just then an old employee nearby, Vikram and Sunita, he came to me and said that there is always a lot of crowd in the fair. It is necessary that you remain alert at such places, never let go of the children's hand and always keep them under your sight. Even in the midst of devotion and faith, we have to keep our one should take care of responsibilities. Vikram and Sunita took this lesson to heart. They decided that from now on they will make full preparations before going to any crowded place and will never let Radika out of their sight. Sunita took a picture of Sangam Ghat. Looking at her, she thanked the God and she made a vow to herself that she would never lose her faith in God again. He also remembered Baba who had brought Radika to him. After this, Sunita and Vikram happily left for their home with Radika. Dear devotees, after meeting Radika, Vikram, Sunita and Radika returned to their home. However, this incident was very painful for them. It was a tough experience of life, but it taught him a deep lesson. Now he had not only become more cautious about the safety of his family, but his courage had also become stronger. Vikram used to tell this story to his neighbors and relatives that Mahakumbh is not only a festival of fire but also a festival of fire. It is not only the center of faith and devotion, it also gives us the right direction to live our life. Have faith in God but do not forget your responsibilities. We should always be alert in crowded places. Never let children go out of your sight. Remember, be alert. Our family's safety is the only way to protect ourselves. While taking bath at the ghat, we should also be cautious about thieves and robbers. We should think before taking help from any unknown person and take bath near the ghats with the help of a chain or rope, because at such a place, a push can cause harm to our family. It seems to be a common thing that women should not wear jewelry and precious items, as there is a possibility of theft of jewelry and precious items in the crowd. It is better to leave them at home and not talk too much with any stranger, and under no circumstances go away from your family to help unknown people. All this is a conspiracy to trap innocent people. Dear devotees, the story also tells us that God is with us all the time, but His grace is fruitful only when we make efforts ourselves. This experience of Mahakumbh became an invaluable lesson for Vikram and Sunita, which they will remember for their whole life. Har Har Ganga, Har Har Ganga. Dear friends, if you like this story, then please write Har Har Ganga in the comment and like this story.